Welcome back to another episode of Wrestling Conversations. Our guest for this episode is Vinny Pacifico. So Vinny was nice enough to join us today, and we discussed his upcoming match with Charlie Haas, how he developed his energy drink character, his energy drink sponsorships, where he's going coming up at the end of this year and next year, including LA, also Japan as well. And we get into some of his social media videos. He's had lots of stuff coming out here in the last recent weeks. So please give this conversation a listen. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Wrestling Conversations. Our very special guest today is Vinny Pacifico. Vinny, how are you today?
I'm doing very good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for taking the time to do the show. So it's been you've had a really crazy year so far. You've had so many big announcements, lots of things coming. I think you're blowing up online too. And you put out I want to start with the announcement that you put out today with an upcoming match you have with Charlie Haas. That's kind of one that caught me. I saw that today, and that really caught me by surprise. It was one of those things that's like, I didn't even realize that was a match I wanted to see, or it was even possible. And so how did that all come together?
Well, so a company in North Carolina, FWE, has a lot of faith in me to give me really good matches. And they said, Vinny, I have a match I want to do for you. He says he's a big fan of, I'm personally a big fan of Charlie Haas. I would love to see you against Charlie Haas and see how that would come out. I said, all right, perfect. That sounds great to me. And I'm also, even though lately I've been extremely heavy working on the character front, I'm also a very, very good technical wrestler, which is something that I really love to do in matches. So I'm very excited for this match. I'm very motivated. I've been hitting the gym twice a day this whole last few weeks because December and January, February, and March, and even April are starting to look really, really stacked, heavy, with all good things. So I'm very blessed. I'm very lucky. Yeah, I'm ready. With great power comes great responsibility, I believe. So with having all these big things coming and all these big things in the works, and even more things that come out of nowhere with wrestling, wrestling, you never know what comes. You have to always be ready, and I'm getting myself in the best shape possible for all these things and for the unknown things that come too,
Yeah, definitely. I think I've seen a lot of your posts online about hitting the gym, and I watched one of your most recent matches with Cheeseburger too, and I was like, whoa! Like you can clearly tell that you've been putting on some size, and you're looking like you're in great shape. Like, so just in addition to just working out more, have you been changing things up with your workout routine, or what's
Yes.
that kind of been like?
Yes, I put on some weight, like good weight and water weight, which comes from a certain pre-workout. So I realized I'm taking this pre-workout that has like an excess amount of sodium, and that bloats you. I did not know that. I didn't know how much sodium was in this pre-workout until I realized how much it would bloat me. So now I'm starting to rehydrate myself and get rid of all that water weight. And I'm also cutting down on carbs and certain things. I'm going carnivore mostly right now because I feel my body thrives most on carbs. On carnivore, not carbs. And so as of right now, my diet's been strictly just carnivore, meat, some veggies, some raw milk. And yeah, that's really what it's been lately. And I've dropped significant weight in the last week. I'm hitting the gym twice a day. So I would go to the gym in the morning, hit my lift, whatever I'm lifting,
Sure.
and then come back later in the evening and do a cardio session with abs.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I mean, you've been looking. I've seen the pictures, man. You've been putting in tons of work there too, and I think that's something that I think is, I'm clearly just a fan of your work and just wrestling as a whole too. I feel like when people put out those posts, right? Those things are obviously it's good to keep up with you, but I think it's like motivating to a lot of other people too. It's like, oh, okay, look all the good work that Vinny's putting in. I can do the same and put in that hard work in the gym too. Is that kind of part of your thought process with your social posts? Because you're somebody that's really on. Sure.
100%. If I could make someone motivated, happy, smile, or feel good about something, I will always. I'm all for that. I love to motivate others. I love to make others feel good. Like you want to be a wrestler. You want fans to feel a good way about you, whether you're a face or a villain or whatever you are. You want people to feel a certain way about you. Yeah, and I believe that whether I go to the gym and look better, yes, I am. You hit it now on the head. I am very for if Vinny could do it, I could do it too. You know, I've had a crazy year. I've debuted for New Japan. I'm going to Japan this year. I've had some really crazy matches against some of the top wrestlers in the world. Won some championships. I signed 2 contract deals with Bang Energy and G Fuel Energy and Raw Nutrition. Like I've had so many really cool things happen for me, and I'm blessed, very blessed. And hard work pays off. But I want others to know that I didn't just get these things just from hard work. I got it from constant consistency, and um, just being nonstop in terms of like, what's the word I want to use? Nonstop in terms of brain never turning off, I guess, which can be a bad thing, but Matt, I tell you, I've just lately it's been constant answering emails, cardio in the gym, working out, talking to G Fuel, talking to the brands that sponsor me. We're working on a whole bunch of different things right now, and there's so many things that are in the works. I'm about to open up a G Fuel, about to open me up a clothing line. So it's just a bunch of really cool things in the works right now that I'm very excited for, and it does not come easy. I'll tell you that.
Awesome. I didn't know about the clothing line. Is there anything that you can share? Is that still under wraps for right now?
It's a little under wraps. Like it's
Sure.
being worked on. Like so
Okay.
there's new CEOs in the company right now, so things are being changed. Things are being worked out differently. So some things are on a standstill, but currently they are working on a contract to get me a clothing line with the company, which would be really cool. Something that I never thought would happen. And like I said,
Yeah.
a lot of these things that have been happening in my career have been insanely out of the blue. I don't even know how I got them. I mean, obviously working hard, but I am just appalled that people trusted me to give these opportunities to me, and I'm lucky. I work hard, and I know I work hard, but it's just when it's happening to you, you just say, "Wow, this is really happening to me." You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's I would kind of assume at this point for you, it's like when you wake up in the morning, you really have no idea what's going to come through your email inbox or your DMs or texts or anything like that too. Has that kind of been what you've been experiencing with all the success you've had in the last couple of years?
Yeah. Like, you never know when AW will call you or WWE will call you for a tryout. You never know when these things will happen. You don't know who's watching you either. You have no. That's a scary thing about this. Also, you have no idea who's watching you, so you have to always make sure you're always on your A game because literally someone could be watching in the audience, so you have no idea who they are, but they could be somebody. Um, or someone could post a clip about you and someone shares it and someone sees it. So you have to still always be on your A game because one
Mhm.
clip of you in the ring or one move you do or one promo you do or one match you have can be seen by anybody and can take you somewhere. So literally, so you will always, there's a saying I like to say, um, you are always one thank you, one I love you, um, one goodbye, and when I, it's a saying that I always used to say, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting it right now, but you're always just one step away from that yes, basically. You're always one step away from changing someone's life or someone changing
Mhm.
your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's just like one thing really builds to to the next two. And like you said, if you're consistent and you show up every day, right, that's when those chances are going to come, right? If you're just there, you're always there versus if someone lays off of that success, you might miss it at that point.
Yeah.
All right. And you said that with everything that you've had going on, you're constantly, responding to emails, working with G Fuel. So you have a lot of stuff going on. How do you and additionally too, like you got married earlier this year as well. How do you find like the energy to keep going, and how do you maintain that like work life balance for you at this point?
Well, I am very lucky because I've been blessed with a wonderful wife who is very supportive of my career, understands the vision, and pushes me to be better each day. So that's what I'm very lucky with. Uh, but I will tell you this: it's not easy because sometimes I come home after a weekend of wrestling. Say I'll have 2 or 3 shows in the weekend. I come back home on Sunday. She wants to, go out to dinner or hang out or whatever. I'm depleted, or I'm focusing on more emails, or I'm focusing on more social media things blowing up on my phone. You know what I mean? It's never ending. And because usually after a weekend of wrestling, people are sharing your stuff, people are commenting on your stuff. Yeah, people
Sure.
posting about your match. You know what I mean? It's always something. Always something. There's always something. So you have to make sure you have a switch in your head and say, no, this is the time that I need to take to be with my wife, to take her out, or listen to her talk, or hear her problems, hear her not problems, hear what she's happy about, or hear her news. You know what I mean? You have to always
Mhm.
take a step back and listen to what they have to say. And I feel like that's something I've been not so good at, but I've been getting better at it recently. Where like, I come home from a weekend of shows, we'd go like apple picking or something with the family, and I'd be on my phone answering, emails or inquiries or sharing things and stuff like that. And it's like I have to step out of it and be like, no, I got to put my phone away. I have to enjoy family time, and I've gotten better at it. I really have. It takes a conscious effort to do these things, but if you prioritize what you want to prioritize, you will make it happen.
Yeah, definitely too. At this point too, and you've been everywhere. Obviously, not just your like the matches you're doing, the stuff you're posting online too, but you've been doing countless interviews over the last, especially over the last probably year and a half that I've seen you
Yep.
pop up
Yeah.
a lot of places too. I had Steven Jensen and oh my gosh, how am I blanking on his name? Jeremy Lambert from Fightful on
I love
my
them.
show. Yeah, I was gonna say too. I talked to Steven recently too that I was having you on because they're two guys that I'll go to for advice and with like podcast stuff, and they're super nice guys too. And he had some really nice things to say about you, and you guys did a great interview as well. But yeah, you've been everywhere. Everybody wants to talk to Vinny.
Hey, I love that, and that's great to know. I appreciate you saying that because that's a good thing. I feel like I always try to provide the best I can to anybody that wants something from me. You know what I mean? In terms of like wrestling, interviews, autograph signing, anything that you have to always provide quality. I believe.
Mhm.
You know, and if you don't do that, people realize that and start to get turned off. So in my experience, no matter how big or small the show is, no matter how and regardless, you always give your best because you never know who's watching, and you always want to put your best foot forward no matter what. In my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. And so with your, I mean, you're posting on social pretty much, pretty much every day. You're putting something out every couple of days. You're putting out a different skit, and those have been just great. This is my personal story with this too.
Shoot.
I am married, and my wife is not a wrestling fan,
Okay.
and she will watch with me. She knows some of the names. She'll watch for me from time to time as well. I showed her some of your videos because I was watching some things, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna interview Vinny, and I showed some videos, and she didn't know, she doesn't know a lot about indie wrestling at this point,
Okay.
and she loved them. And that's someone that's not a wrestling fan, but that just goes to show that's like, okay, what you're
Yeah.
putting out there is working and can appeal to a broader audience as well. Um, so definitely those have been great. Do you have any favorites that stick
Yeah.
out in your mind?
I love to hear that, Matt. Thank you so much for even joining your wife. I appreciate that. And the kind
Mhm,
words. Yeah, like I'm so happy people enjoy. I'm so happy people are enjoying these. And this is just
mhm,
something that. Do I have favorites? Yes, I do. But I wanted to say
mhm,
this character is something that is not really a character. It's really me. I'm very goofy. I'm very funny. I mean, I'm obviously not always amped up like that. But it's it's fragments of who I am as a person amplified, right?
mhm,
And that's
mhm,
what I feel the best characters are in wrestling. Are the people who take bits of themselves and amplify it, and that's who I am. So once I started doing that and doing promos and cutting promos, I realized I could talk really good. I realized that I could cut a promo. I never in the first few years of wrestling, I never really cut promos. Never really worked on it. Never really dove deep into my character or my charisma. But once I started getting comfortable with that, and EC3 was somebody who really pushed that into me in promo class and learning promos and getting better at stuff. And so that type of stuff was really 8 9 months of grueling promos,
mhm.
character driven stuff, and digging deep into me and finding out who I am and what makes me me. And I love energy drinks, so that's a plus. That goes hand in hand. So my favorite ones are I love Mr. Kennedy's one because he was so
Yeah,
down to
yep.
do it. He was so invested in it. He was like, let's just do it and see where it goes. You know what I mean? And he was phenomenal. Tommy Dreamer was another one who was great. He was so fun to do this with. I love the one with Crowbar. That was a recent one that got like 80,000 views. Like that one was so much fun to do, and I thought that one went so well. He understands the vision. He has his own promo. I understand his vision. So we met up, we made the promo happen, and it was phenomenal. I thought, in my opinion. But again, props to him because Crowbar is the effing man. I really enjoyed. I did one with Chris Benet. He's a newer wrestler out of New York. I did it last
Sure.
week in
Mhm,
Fun Station. Um, where we just like did some really goofy stuff where I just literally drank the drink like Triple H and just ran around the whole arcade and just played games. But it was just really stupid. But I thought it was hilarious. So like that's in my opinion, just being yourself and being fun. Have fun with these things. Like you can't always in my opinion, I learned you can't expect every single skit, promo, match you have to go off and pop off and be crazy. Just have fun with it. Do your best, obviously, but have fun and just. And fans are enjoying them, so do it for the fans who enjoy them, and anybody else who catches the eye and enjoys it and shares it and loves it and appreciates it. So be it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And I think those are the things that like, okay, that's like you're adding that extra layer on top of like, yes, your in ring work is very good, obviously as well. But like you add that extra connection. I bet you hear from fans all the time, whether you're at shows or online. I bet you hear about I bet those skits probably just as much as your matches at this point. Has to be.
Lately, yeah, like people are really so. How do I put this? Anyone or a lot of people or many people are good wrestlers, right?
Mhm.
But it takes a certain. Not everyone could be a good talker, good charisma, funny. You know what I mean? Make people laugh
Yes.
or could persuade a crowd. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yes, I could wrestle. Yes, I love to wrestle. Yes, wrestling's my everything. But now I've realized cutting promos, character work is almost even more important than the in ring
Mhm.
stuff.
Mhm. Definitely. I think for your videos too, my standouts probably I would say I like the Ken Anderson one quite a bit. That was one that
Hell
I showed
yeah.
my wife too. And as a kid that grew up watching wrestling kind of in that
Yeah.
time where he was like I was born in 97, so when he came up in like what 05, 06, 07, those were like my peak years of wrestling fandom as a kid. And I just love that you just don't know who's going to show up next.
Yeah, exactly. And oh my gosh, it's so cool that people actually feel this way, and like, oh, who's coming out next? Who's he gonna have next? It's really cool, And I try to always include like people who are well known and people who are not well known. So maybe some people look at them and say, "Oh, let me follow this guy." You know what I mean? You never know. Um, but yeah, like I love these things, and I started out. Gangrel was the first one I ever did. It got thousands of views, and I'm like, all right, this is funny, this is cool. Let's keep going. And I don't remember the order of which I did them in, but it was Gangrel. It was a few other guys. I don't remember. It's been going on for like about. I would say it started maybe 2 or 3 months ago, 1 year ago, like a year
Okay.
and 3 months ago. Yeah, I would say they
Mhm.
started. Um, I did one with Gangrel again around December 15th, 16th. And that one got really, really popular. And that's when it started to snowball effect in terms of like, uh, using more people, doing more things, having more ideas. Because literally, there's a million things you can do with this character.
Yeah, definitely. There's unlimited options, I think, at that point. Um, have the reactions when you've asked other wrestlers to, and I think I like the mix that you have of like more guys that were legends. You have up and coming guys too to kind of
Yeah.
showcase them as well. That can kind of give them kind of a rub from it too. When you started, how would you pitch that to somebody that is like okay, pretty established in the wrestling business, and this is kind of a new idea for you at this point? People are well aware that these get lots of views, things like that. But when you were just starting, how would you kind of approach like a pitch like that to somebody?
So you're saying when I first started doing these, right?
Yes. Yep. Yep.
Okay. So luckily, I did them with Gangrel and people who are very well known, so they got out there pretty quickly. Um, but I would usually say like, hey, I have this character like that I'm working on, and it's like I do these things, and a lot of the time, I'll tell you what, people ask me to do them, but
Awesome.
it's awesome. I love it. But I'll tell you what, it's usually like, hey, I do this thing. This is what I do. This is who the character is. This is the vision I have. And if you're interested, and people are usually very receptive about it. Oh, hell yeah, I'd love to do that. Because, it's different. People love to hear those things. Oh, this is awesome. And we just go, we do it, we create magic. And I call it create something out of nothing. That's what I call it. Because
Mhm.
literally, there's two people, two talents creating a promo, entertainment, a skit, something from nothing, from ideas. And whether people love it, hate it, share it, don't like it, Don't comment on it, whatever it is, but it comes from literally out of nowhere. It's literally just fragments from our brain, ideas. You know what I mean? So that's what I believe in wrestling is create something out of nothing because that is where things really get better for you.
Sure. Where did you come up with the idea to? Because like you started doing the the power punch character and doing the energy drinks. One addition that I really do enjoy is you will have your drinks in like a I don't know what you would call this too. It kind of reminds me of Batman's utility belt for energy drinks. That's kind of what it looks like.
Exactly. It's the utility
That's I don't know if
belt.
that's
Yep.
I don't know what you would prefer to call it, but where did that idea to add that one feature in?
Where did I add that in? Okay. And so the Power Punch character came about with um, EC3 and a guy named JC. They said, Vinny, you're at the time. I was like very, very. I'm still young, but I was younger, and I didn't have a character for myself. I didn't. I just had the kid. I was just some white me baby face, tan, whatever, and that was it. I had funny. I did have some funny promos back then, but I didn't have the character I have now. So they said you have the it factor, but we don't know what it is yet. They found it, brought it out to me, and that's when we started doing the promo classes and started getting really, really good with stuff. Um, so and managing drink stuff as well. So over time, I'm watching Simpsons, and I see Duffman, and I'm like, that's me. So I said I ordered the belt, and everyone loves it. And there's more stuff that I have coming soon, gear wise, that people I think definitely love.
Awesome. It's those little things, like those little details. Like that was one thing that stood out when I first saw that. I was like, oh, that's so great to have the belt, have the extra drinks. It's like it's a small thing to add, but it's like those little details that shows how much thought you've put into this whole thing. That I think makes the difference.
That's what it is. It's if you put effort in something, it will pay off. That's what I believe. Real effort, genuine effort.
Yes, definitely. I had saw also you put out a post here about wanting to wrestle Ethan Page in the future. That's something that I personally would love to see happen. What are your thoughts on Ethan, and what kind of match do you guys think that you guys could have?
I think it could be literally any kind of match. It could be. I think he's phenomenal talent. I think he's a great talker. I think he's in the ring one of the best guys right now. So I firmly believe that would be a great match, and I would love to have it too. He's a great guy too. Like he's somebody who way back when helped me out a lot in terms of advice and being there and talking to me and showing me some things. So definitely somebody who gives back and is not afraid to give back, and always willing to help people out. And that's something I love to see in people.
Yeah, and he seems like such a obviously I don't know him personally, but he always seems like comes across as such a genuine guy too. And have you seen some of his like interviews and like pictures and stuff recently of the kind of the transformation that he's been kind of going
He
through
looks
at this
phenomenal.
point? He
He looks
does.
phenomenal. Way better than I do, but you know, I'm trying to get there. Now he's great. He works very hard. Everything he's got coming his way he deserves. And again, he's somebody I definitely love to be in the ring with soon.
Definitely. So before we get out of here, Vinny, too, I want to go through just a couple of non wrestling like rapid fire questions with you, if you don't
Please
mind.
do.
Okay. So first question I have for you: favorite fictional character outside of wrestling?
Darth Vader.
Okay. Tough to beat. Tough to beat. Okay. So favorite drink that's not an energy drink.
Ooh. Can't okay. Favorite drink that's not an energy drink. Uh cran okay. Christmas cranberry sugar free Sprite.
Okay. I don't. You know what? I've heard of that, but I've never tried it. I'm gonna have to give that a shot now.
You know what it tastes like? Christmas in a can.
Hey, I'm all for that. I'm a Christmas guy myself, so I'd be down for that. All
It's
right.
phenomenal.
Favorite food.
Wow. Sushi, steak, pasta.
Sushi, steak, pasta, all pretty good hits. Okay, okay. Favorite movie.
Yeah, wow. One single movie or trilogy?
Either one, either one.
Star Wars, favorite trilogy. Favorite movie, I would say I like American Psycho a lot.
Okay, okay.
I
Those are
love
good
Chucky.
picks.
I got a few.
Those are good picks. I saw you put a post out there recently too about the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and that was so funny because I remember I commented on that post too because I was watching that movie, the first one, when you tweeted that out, and it was just like the craziest thing. But
He's the
what are your
best.
thoughts? What are your thoughts on the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy?
Literally phenomenal. He nailed it on the head. I could recite all the words in the first movie. I love it. I grew up in that movie, and I was just first game I ever played was the Spider-Man one game. I can't. I could go on and on hours about that movie. I love the music perfectly. The Aunt May is great. Green Goblin's dope. You got Peter Parker, who's a nerd who gets beat up, who's hilarious and doesn't know he's hilarious, but he is hilarious. Um, you got Harry, the best friend, who's better looking and all that, but he doesn't quite get uh, MJ until whatever next episode or something like that. It's just so good and so perfectly written. I love it. I can't get. And then you got Doc Ock. You got Venom, and then I remember back in the day, I was younger, like I was like 10 or something, but there was rumors about having Spider-Man 4 with Carnage.
Oh yes, I remember that. Yes,
Remember that? It never happened,
yes.
but it would be awesome.
No, that'd be awesome. I think Spider-Man 2 for me slightly edges out number 1, but those two are pretty neck and neck. People don't like
Why?
people I just
The
I don't
powers, I
know. I
guess, losing the powers kind of was cool.
Yeah, that's an interesting one too, and I think like I think at that point of just like the production of the movies too, I think at that point like they had made and it was only what 3 years, 2 or 3 years apart too, but I feel like they made a lot of strides in that regard too. So I'm like I think the production's a little bit better in number 2. Some of the Doc Ock fight scenes are so good. Those were
Yeah,
so ahead of their time, I think.
I love this scene when he's. I love this scene when she's trying to kiss him at the deli or the what's it called, the breakfast shop, whatever they are.
Yeah,
What do you call those
yeah.
restaurants?
Like it's like a bistro or something like that. I don't know
Yeah,
what it
they're
is.
at the
Something like
bistro.
that.
She's coming to kiss him, nice and slow, and all of a sudden you hear the spider sense and the car pop in. What a scene that
Yes.
was! And he saved her with the car. Remember that?
Yes, I remember that.
Oh my
That
gosh,
was
I'm
so
getting goosebumps
good.
right now.
That
Why are you
was
doing this
so
to me?
good. I don't know. I like the moment from Spider-Man 3 when Harry tells Peter that he's the other guy for MJ. Do you remember that? And they're at like a restaurant
Yes,
just like
that
that
that was
too.
three. Oh, that was the
Yes, I
beginning
think
of three, right?
that was 3. Yeah, and then Peter walks out of the restaurant, he looks back and then Harry gives him the wink and then he's
Oh
going to
yeah, it
go back and
disappears.
then he disappears. Oh, I love that scene too. That's great.
Oh, it's so good. I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye. That was a great
Yeah.
scene too.
Oh, yes, when he's got the black suit on. Yeah.
Yep, yep. Oh my gosh, so
Oh,
good.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to watch that soon.
I'm gonna
See if
put
I
it
can
on
get
right
my
now,
wife.
probably.
Yeah, there you go. I might have to. I watched number 1. I think whenever that was last week. I got to get number 2, but I don't know if my wife will want to watch another Spider-Man movie. But she's usually a pretty good sport, so I might be able to convince her.
Is she a good sport? Yeah, mine usually is
Yeah,
too. When she wants to be.
puts up with my nerdy hobbies, that's for sure. But well, Vinny, I've kept you long enough.
Do you want to do a few more
Before
questions?
I mean, sure, we can do a
3
couple more
more?
questions. Couple more questions.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. All right, I've got another one. So we did movies. So what about TV show?
TV show. What do I watch? I like Family Guy. Uh, yeah, of course. Simpsons is fun. Yeah. What else do I like? Dark Shadows.
I don't think I haven't watched that one before.
My grandma watches it. I used to watch it now and then with her. It's pretty damn good.
Pretty good. I'll have to check that one out.
Check it out.
Okay.
It's very old, but very good.
Okay. Okay. I think I know the answer to this one. Favorite holiday.
Halloween. No, 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 no. I would say my favorite holiday. I do love Christmas because it's Christ's birthday. Um, Christmas, I would say. I also enjoy Thanksgiving.
I think I like them all. I think I just like them all. They're all good. Okay. All right. All
They're
right.
all good. Yes.
You can't really go wrong if you get food. You get to spend time with people that you like. For the most part, I think that's
Yeah,
always
that we
always
like,
a
right? That
yeah.
we like.
Right. Right. All right. What are one of maybe 1 or 2 of like songs that come on your gym playlist that when they come on, those are your favorite when you're specifically working out?
I'll tell you right now. Let me see. Yeah, let me see. Uh, the Kurt Angle theme song.
Oh, you got to have that in there.
Dark Knight Rise by Hans Zimmer. That one will always make me cry and lift heavier. Uh, Harry Potter soundtrack's pretty dope. I have that in there. I have with that. What else do I got in here? You got War by Vince DiCola from Rocky, of course.
Nice. You got to have that too.
And What Do You Want From Me by Adam Lambert.
All right, all right. I like your picks. And you mentioned, okay, this is a side note. So I know you're a pretty big Kurt Angle fan. You had an appearance on his show. Um, I watched, you know, the name of the guy that does like chiropractor videos, but he interviews wrestlers at the same time. It's like Bo something. I can't remember what his name is. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay, okay. I think it's Hightower. So he's had like Kenny Omega, I think he's had MJF
No,
recently.
that's cool.
He had Kurt on, and he does like, you know, he does like chiropractic adjustments, but also will ask like wrestling questions. He asked Kurt, what are some of your favorite movies? And Harry Potter made the list. That was something so out of left field for me.
I love it. I love it.
It
But
was
Harry Potter, listen. So I don't know. I'm very nostalgic when it comes to like things in my life. So like I like to go and put myself back into where me and my fiance went to Harry Potter World for the first time together, and I'll just play that stuff.
definitely Harry Potter is so good. I honestly did not watch it until like 2 years ago, and I
Oh,
haven't
me
read the
too.
books.
No, me too. I hated it as a kid. I hated it growing up, and then my fiance says at the time my fiance says, "Oh, let's go to Disney. Let's go to Universal together." And I'm like, "All right, we'll go to Universal, whatever." We went, and I ended up loving it. We came back to our house, and I watched every single one all day for 2 days in a row, and I fell in love with it.
Awesome. I mean, they're such good movies. I have to read the book still. I'm not the biggest reader in the world, but I'm like, I got to get to those books because I enjoyed those movies so much. It just caught me so by surprise that you got Kurt Angle and that's some of his favorite movies is Harry Potter. It's great.
Yeah, yeah,
Awesome.
yes, definitely.
Awesome. Well, Vinny, I've kept you long enough, so thank you for making the time too. But before we get out of here, where can people find you online, upcoming shows you're on, things like that?
I got a lot of upcoming shows. I'm going to LA Sunday. Next Saturday, I got Magic in New Jersey. I'm going to Japan. Next year, I'm January. I'm up the East Coast, Florida. Got back in New Jersey, upstate New York, Pennsylvania. You got Atlanta. You got Texas. It's all over, and probably LA also again probably. So a lot of crazy, and that's January. You know, it's really busy. It's a lot. Just keep posted on my social medias, which are Twitter, Vinny Pacifico one, Facebook, Vinny Pacifico, Instagram, Vinny Pacifico, and TikTok. I had to make one, Vinny Pacifico.
Awesome. And yeah, again, thank you, Vinny, for taking the time to do this. I wish you the best of luck on all the big things you have coming up, and
Thank you very much.
looking forward to see how everything turns out for you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, my friend. Stay safe and enjoy the holidays. Okay.
Thanks, Vinny.